Do you feel like you've been stuck at the same skill level for a long time? If so, then you've come to the right place. I am already one of the top 75 ranked players in NA this season, and today I'm going to be showing all of you, yes you watching this video right now, the 10 best ways to get better at Fortnite. And once you're done with this video, you're never going to find yourself losing a fight in ranked ever again. And don't worry, every single tip I cover in this video is going to be insanely easy to master. So if you haven't already, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, it means a lot. Also check out my other socials, but now onto the video. So first things first, if you want to get better at fighting in ranked and you want to dominate and full box your opponents every single time, you're going to need to learn how to piece control in any given scenario in ranked. So here's a quick example on how I full box my opponents. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm up near the first order base and I'm trying to grab some loot. As I'm grabbing the loot, another player is going to see me and he's going to push up to me and ramp towards me. Now when this happens, I see the other player has high ground above me. So to stop him from taking height, I'm going to hold out a cone and I'm going to look up and I'm going to cone him. This now blocks the player from going up. And now most players, when they get blocked off, they're going to run back and try and create space in the opposite direction. So I'm going to move over to the left of him and pre-piece the box next to him, so that by the time the player walks into this box, I already have control of it, and I can make a window edit, and then after I make the window edit, I'm going to build and block him off. But notice how I swing to the left of the window edit. This means that when the player shoots, he whiffs his shot, and now I can take the shot and pump the player, and after I pump the player, I reset the wall and I play patient. Now from this point, I don't want to make a dumb wide edit and 50-50 because this player is sprinting up right next to my wall, and if I make a dumb edit, he could run into my box and kill me. So when I see this player swinging on my wall, I'm not going to make a wide edit, I'm going to make a window edit, pump the player, and then I'm going to reset the wall. This is now going to block his shot and I haven't taken any damage. And from this point, this player is super weak and I'm kind of just toying with him at this point because I know the fight's over. So I'm just going to wait for him to spray the wall, and eventually I'm just able to pump him with my revolver and then pick up a free elimination. So if you want to start winning fights just like this in ranked, make sure to pre-piece your opponents, and then when you get them in the box, make sure not to make dumb wide edits and play patient and wait for the right moment to edit so that you can pick up free elims in ranked. Now every time you get in a ranked fight, it's going to be different in some way or another, and every single player you're fighting is going to have a different playstyle. So if you want to full box and piece control your opponents every single time, you need to learn how to notice patterns in your opponents. So an example of this in a fight would be right here. As you can see, I'm fighting this player near Foxy Floodgate, and eventually this player is going to run away and box up. But when this player boxes up, I notice a pattern with this player. He doesn't place cones or anything in his box. So since I know this pattern, I can use this to my advantage to win the fight. Now when I steal this player's wall in front of me, I realize this player's just pump sitting, so I don't want to edit on him. So I'm going to play patient, but when the other player steals the wall, I'm then going to back up, flip up the cone in front of me, and create a box to my left so that I have multiple boxes to play from. Now from this point, the player is going to run away again, and he's going to create the same 1x1 of space that he was making earlier, but I'm going to notice the pattern that this player made again. He didn't place a cone in his box. So instead of trying to steal his wall like earlier, I'm going to use this to my advantage by pumping and then spraying the wall, and then I'm going to hold out a ramp. This ramp is then going to be thrown into the opponent's box, and it's going to force this player to now leave the box. And when this player edits on me, I'm not going to stand in this box right here because he could just edit on me and pump me, right? Instead, I'm going to stand in the box back here, so that when the player edits through, I can pump him and then reset the wall without taking any damage. And from that point, since I have such a health advantage, I can easily take this 50-50 by editing through and then pumping the player and then picking up a free kill. So if you want to start winning fights in ranked just like this, start noticing patterns in your opponents so you can use that to piece control them, giving you free kills in ranked. Moving on now, let's talk about one of the biggest questions players have when playing ranked. How do you fight against aggressive players properly? Now the best way to fight against a super aggressive player is by learning how to do counter damage. So an example of how to do counter damage would be right here. As you can see, I'm running around at the gas station and I see this player in front of me. When I see this player, I'm going to get some opening damage with my revolver. He's going to build me off and then I'm going to push over to him. But when I ramp this player, he's going to be able to take a right hand peek and he's going to pump me in my head and he's going to crack me. Now after I get cracked, I need to run away and pop my meds. So I'm going to swap to my wood and I'm going to create a 2x1 of space to allow me to have time to pop my meds. But as I'm popping my meds, the other player instantly edits down and he starts to drop onto my wall and spray my wall. So that means I need to do counter damage to win this fight. The way I'm going to do this is when the player pushes up to my far right wall and he starts to spray it, I don't want to stand on that wall. Instead, I'm going to move back into my old box and then I'm going to edit through, box that area, and then edit through and box the space he's in as well. This allows me to catch the player off guard, pump him in the face, and crack him. That was the counter damage I was looking for, and now I can take the fight to him. Now when I crack this player, he's going to flip up the cone in front of him so I can't shoot him anymore. So I'm going to reset the wall in front of me, and then I'm going to go back to my old box and hold out a wall. And then from this point, I can make a simple peanut butter peek, and then I can swap to my double pump, hitting the player twice, and then I pick up a free kill. And after I pick up this kill, notice how I instantly create space in hard mat so that any third parties that push me, I have time to react to. So that if a third party shows up, I have time to react to it. Moving on now, I want to talk about the best way to avoid getting third partied or even cleaned up in the new season. And this is, in my opinion, the best habit you can have as a player, and that is by creating space after you get a kill. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm in the middle of the map and I just picked up a kill on an opponent. Now, as soon as I pick up this kill, I see that another player is third partying me. So I don't want to be greedy for the loot, and I'm instantly going to swap to my metal, and I'm going to create 3 boxes of space. This is super important because not only is it going to give me time to react to what the other player is going to do, but it's going to let me think of a counter to what the other player is going to do as well. Now, when this player pushes up to me, he's going to try and push over to my side, and he's going to try and grab doubles over on the front of my new box. And when this happens, I know I have the Wrecker revolver, so I can play from a good angle, pump the player with it, and then crack him with my AR at the same time. After cracking this player, I need to make sure he can't pop any of his meds, so I'm instantly going to sprint out and push over to this player. Now from this point, I'm going to push up to this player's wall, and I'm going to start swinging on it, trying to take it. But when I'm starting to swing onto this player's wall, I notice there's no cone in his box. So instead of taking the wall, I'm going to swing on the wall, act like I'm going to take it, but then I'm going to hold out a ramp instead. This is going to throw a ramp in the player's face, and it's now going to force him to want to create space and leave the box. So all I'm going to do is edit up the cone in front of me, and then I'm going to set up a double edit and full box the box next to this player, so that by the time he confirms the edit trying to run away, I already have it full box, and I can just double pump him and then pick up a free elimination. So if you want to start piece controlling your opponents like this, but also avoid third parties at the same time, start instantly creating space after you get a kill so you have time to react to the other opponent, and then you can safely take the fight and then win. Moving on, I want to talk about another important part of this video, and that is by learning how to apply pressure properly. If you can learn how to apply pressure properly, you can force your opponents into mistakes, giving you free kills. So an example of this in a fight would be right here. As you can see, there's a player in front of me boxed up, tapping Fizz. When I see this, I try and push up to the player, but he's going to swap to his crash pads and he's going to try and run away. So I'm obviously going to pull out my AR and I'm going to beam this player and I'm going to crack him. Now after I crack this player, this is now going to force him to slow up and he's going to be forced to box up and start to pop his meds. And this is going to allow me to crash pad over to the player and close the distance. From this point, I don't want to give this player any time to pop his meds. So to stop this player from expanding and popping his meds, I'm going to cut off every angle he has to leave the box, and then I'm going to apply pressure straight on his wall. And from this point, obviously the player wants to edit on me, so I'm going to wait for him to edit, and then I'm going to use my double pump to steal the wall, and from this point I can edit, and then I'm going to pump the player and crack him. But after whiffing my second shot with my double pump because I'm garbage at the game, this other player is going to edit out and he's going to run away. Now when the player runs away, look at my POV, I'm going to snag the wall in front of him by shooting it. Now when I do this, I notice that the right wall behind this player is open. So that probably means he's going to run into that direction to create space. So I'm going to edit through my wall, and then I'm going to look to my right, and then I'm going to hold out a wall. This is going to allow me to grab control of the box that the player is moving into, and from that point I'm going to make a wide edit, place a cone, and I'm able to trap the player in the cone, and from that point it's just a simple edit, and I can pump the player, giving me a free kill. And after I pick up the kill, the box that I'm sitting in isn't mine, so I create an extra box of space before I go for any of the loot. So if you want to start winning fights in rank just like this, start applying pressure and cutting off angles just like this so that your player has no time to pop his meds, meaning you're going to be able to piece them up easier, giving you free kills. Moving on, I want to talk about a really important part of this video that I think a lot of people overlook, and that is by learning how to turn defense into offense when you're fighting in ranked. So an example on how to turn defense into offense would be right here. As you can see, there is a player in front of me in a bush. I'm going to spray him and get some opening damage. When I get this opening damage, the other player's instantly going to start ramping towards me. So I'm going to use my double jump coin to jump out to the right, and I'm going to pump this player. Now when me and this player trade, I realize he's not on a lot of builds. So I'm going to spray him, chop him out, and try and double jump again. And when I do double jump again and pump and crack this player, he also cracks me as well. And once this happens, I'm going to drop on the low ground and I'm going to block off my head while popping meds. But this other player doesn't want to pop his meds and he's instantly going to keep pushing me. So I need to turn my defense into offense. So I'm going to double jump in the air, catch the player off guard, and then pump him. This now gives me the health advantage, and now I can be the person that is pushing him. And when this player boxes up on the right in brick, I'm going to use my double jump coin to jump over his head, catch the player off guard, and then hold out a floor and a cone above him. This now traps the player from going up. And from this point, I don't want to make a wide edit, so instead I'm going to pre-piece the box behind him. But when the player realizes that I've pre-pieced that box, he's going to put a wall in between both boxes, and when I see that, I know I already have the roof above him, and I can double edit, pump him, and then pick up a free elimination. But I was only able to pick up this kill super quickly on this player because I learned how to turn defense into offense in a fight. So if you want to win more fights in ranked, start doing this. Moving on, I want to talk about a really easy way for you to piece control and full box your opponents, and that is by forcing them to make mistakes. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm running towards the Supernova Academy, and I see a player up in front of me running around. So I'm going to push over to this player, and when he realizes I see him, he's going to swap to his hard mats, and he's going to create a 1x1 of space. So to force this player into a mistake, I'm going to cut off every single angle this player has. I'm going to pre-piece the box next to him, and I'm going to pre-piece the other box next to him. Now after I cut off the angles, the other player realizes he has to go up, so he's going to double it up and try and jump away. So to stop him, I'm going to hold out 2 walls in front of him. This is going to block the player from trying to run away from me. And from this point, I'm going to shoot his cone, steal it, make an edit, and then I can pump the player for 100 and crack him. Now after I crack this player, I realize he's going to try and run out below him. So I'm going to cut him off. Since I already have that box pieced, I can hold this player, fake pump swing to see if this player is going to edit on me, and when he doesn't, I can just steal the wall, and I'm able to pump this player and pick up a free kill. So if you want to start winning fights in rank just like this, start forcing your opponents to make mistakes so you can piece them up, giving you free kills. Moving on now from fighting and piece control, I want to talk about 2 of the biggest mistakes that I see players make when fighting in ranked. Now the first and biggest issue a lot of players have when playing ranked is not placing a cone in your box. So an example of this mistake would be right here. As you can see, I'm running around in the open. I see a player in front of me. I'm going to pump him right, pump him again. I get the wall in between me and him. At this point, the player's pretty cooked, but I'm not able to kill him. Now obviously when this player runs away, he's going to try and create space and med up, but you'll notice as soon as he creates this box right now, there's no cone in his box. If we go drone free and we just like look right here, you'll notice there's nothing in his box. And that means that from where I'm standing, when I fall down, I look up and I see there's no cone in his box. So I can hold a cone and then I'm just going to place it in his box. And from that point, the player's obviously cooked and I can just break the floor, edit down, and then kill him. So make sure you're not making this mistake and you're always placing piece in your box so you never get piece controlled like this. Now the second and the last mistake a lot of you players are making when fighting in ranked is by having really bad awareness. So I'm going to show you an example of how to fix this issue. Alright, so an example of this mistake in a fight would be right here. As you can see, I'm running around. This is a game where I got 17 kills and I'm pushing up to one of these players in front of me and he's going to jump above me and he's going to take high ground on me. Now when this player gets high ground on me, you can see me right now. I just created a 2x1 of space, right? But you'll notice from the player's gameplay, as I create the space, he's literally on my builds. So from this point, obviously, I know this player doesn't have any awareness because he's standing on my builds. And when I see him pickaxing the right wall, I know I can just reset my cone and then just double edit him down into my box. And from that point, I can just pump, crack this player, and get him super weak. And from this point, when I crack this player, if we look at his POV, he's now going to panic, choke and edit, and now he's just still stuck in the box, and now he's cooked. And from this point, the player makes another wide edit. That was a bad edit. And from this point, I can steal the wall, jump up, pump him, and then kill him. So make sure not to make the same mistake this guy had and have better awareness. Now, every fighting tip I've given you in this video is going to improve your fighting skills in some way or another. But it's very important not to just get focused on one thing in this video. You need to learn how to combine all of these skills into one actual ranked match or one actual ranked fight, so that no matter the situation, you come out on top in all of your fights, so that you become a better overall player when playing ranked. But that is going to wrap up this video, so if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be live later today, and if you want to see how to get better in the new season, go check this video out. But with that, I'm out. Peace.